Dungeons and Dragons has been slowly but surely vocified over the past couple of years, but now it seems like they're just pushing it into overdrive.
We've covered the woke D&D situation for a while here, and the Player's Handbook is out now, and this is kind of how they do things. They put out their little trilogy of books as they do their new editions of things with the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, and Monster Manual as smaller supplements keep coming out as well. And
To explain a little bit what's happening here, D&D is getting rid of everything old pretty much because it's problematic. It's not inclusive enough, and so effectively they're getting rid of all the evil things and anything that could be seen as a stereotype. That means you, black man, because you're clearly an orc analogy or something like that. Rings of Power taught me. It is what it is.
it is now officially just one of the most woke, crazy things you could imagine. This is exactly what they've been promising to their dwindling player base, and I don't think it's going to go too well for them. Now, Diversity in Dragons is a great YouTube channel. He did the
Yeah, soon the only player base left is gonna be that one purple haired person who's gonna go on Twitter and say, "My group of 5 players." Well, now it's 3 because 2 decided to become a percentile. Love it. Oh, wait, 2. Now it's 2. The third one also decided percents matter. There you go. It's great. It's great. Wizards of the Coast completely collapsing D&D wise. Coincidentally, I yesterday actually looked at their earnings reports, and my god, when you can't even fucking make your earnings report look, I mean literally just look wise, not look like a piece of shit made by a 5-year-old, you got problems. Also, the only thing in Wizards of the Coast wise that's actually making them any real profit is currently Arena. It's growing and doing things. Everything else is pretty much like, okay, how many spin-offs of Magic cards we can do? That's the second thing that's making the money. All of this is either stagnant or on a decline.
work here exposing exactly what's going on in this situation. And with all of the other craziness that's going on with Dungeons and Dragons, you can expect this edition is going to be a huge flop. Of course, like everybody else, they're moving to a subscription model to try to just keep the player base engaged over and over and over again. We'll see how that goes for them at this point because, I'm pretty sure 99% of their player base are white males. So telling them, yeah, this isn't for you, isn't going to go as they think it is.
Evil white males, not just white males, okay? They probably roleplay as Hitler, okay? They probably have a body pillow of the Third Reich. Okay, though these are evil people, evil white males. All white males are obviously evil. I, as a black man, can obviously say that. It's not racist. But, it's true.
All right, so please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things in tabletop games, video games. Of course, we're here for culture, especially science fiction and fantasy, my friends. I am a science fiction and fantasy.
True.
All right. So, the new edition of Dungeons and Dragons has longtime players fleeing the tabletop gaming system with woke changes Wizards of the Coast is making. Now, the YouTube channel Diversity in Dragons confirms the Player's Handbook contains even more subversion of the classic fantasy game. Now, we saw this beautiful image earlier this year, stunning and brave, really, of this Mexican.
Stunning and ate way too much. This is obviously an analogy for immigration and shit. Great stuff.
Orc family.
Yeah.
They're immigrating into obviously Arizona or New Mexico, hanging
Yeah, they just want to kill children. It's not a big deal.
out, just want to be with their families and grill and
Children.
human flesh.
Yeah.
But it's their culture, guys, and you got to respect it.
Yeah.
And this has been kind of the way that they've been doing things over the last several years. They've been trying to humanize orcs in such a weird way. It's been happening in Rings of Power.
Because orcs, as we all know, are black people, and thus it's bad if they're evil. Said pretty much literally everyone woke, honestly. Oh yes, because there's no such thing as fantasy without a real world equivalent. Didn't you know? Bigot.
we saw with the little immigrant family. They determined that J.R.R. Tolkien made orcs as an allegory for black people.
Oh yeah, see, yeah. Even though Tolkien explicitly said no.
And of course, that was never the case. It was a complete lie made up by the SJW establishment. And so their attempts to humanize them have come in the entire fantasy genre over the last several years. This is the most recent iteration of it, which now makes orcs into Mexican people instead of black people. Very offensive and very crazy.
What do you think about that, my Latinx viewers? Do you like that? Do you feel included? Congratulations, you just upgraded to fucking orcs. Good stuff, right?
This is racism right here, if you want to get into it all the way around.
But how dare you? The horse is white.
This went super viral, and of course, people made fun of it for a long, long time. They had other races that they were removing because there was slavery involved, and they changed the whole backstories and settings of them. It is a complete travesty of what they're doing to the fantasy setting. Now, we also famously covered that Kyle Brink, this guy who was a producer, he's no longer with the company, said, "This is not the face of the hobby anymore. I think there's been mistakes."
Yeah, they're also trying to get rid of people who were very well known in the D&D as people who, contributed a lot to its growth because, again, they're old white men and they're problematic, obviously.
Made in years past where people assumed D&D players were all, white dudes in a basement, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every...
Yeah, it's now overrated white men and, percentiles, people that are going to become statistics.
Day. In my viewpoint, guys like me can't leave soon enough. So he wants white males out of the hobby.
You know what's my favorite part about all of these special communities? It's the fact when you... I love it because people sometimes are, they're just looking at what these communities, right? And their Tumblrs and their Reddits and all of that. And my favorite part is when someone's, I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna do it. I'm checking out. And people are saying, no, don't. You're just gonna become a statistic and you're gonna prove their point. That's my favorite part.
This is pretty interesting. Every time I go into a hobby shop and a gaming shop and I see some Dungeons and Dragons players, I would say that 90% of the players are white males. And Diversity and Dragons went to Gen Con this year. He said he walked around. There's an 80,000 person convention of tabletop gamers. He says he saw maybe a handful of black people there, and it was mostly, again, white males. You get more females cosplaying and stuff like that at conventions than you do in the hobby shops. But again, this is your core player base by more than just like 50%. It's like it's 90%, my friends. And so it's stupid of you to try to push white males out of the hobby. But that's exactly what they're doing. Now, of course, the Dungeon Master's Guide we revealed about a month ago that it's being turned into a safe space. This is the woke gamer activist making the X symbol when he's triggered by the.
You can tell by the tattoo.
By the DM here, which is in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, Grums actually reported on this. He said it's an emergency snowflake break where players can stop the entire game if they feel the slightest bit uncomfortable.
Nice,
to do
nice.
This, the DM's guide says you must make an X symbol with your arms. Once this...
What if I don't have arms, you bigots? What if I don't identify my arms as my arms? What if these are hooves? Oh my god, that is the most bigoted sentence I have heard in my life. Oh my god.
This woke bat signal is given, the entire game must stop immediately and address the concerns of the one player by skipping or altering the campaign on the fly, forcing everyone else to go along with it. You would think the wokies would be happy with this, but they're angry. You see, they're accused of stealing these these ideas from other smaller tabletop creators. Oh,
I thought he's gonna say that the wokies are mad because it was actually the blacks who invented D&D. Obviously.
How exciting of a game! Can you imagine?
So D&D is the only thing that blacks didn't invent. Wow, that's pretty insane.
If I had a person like this at my table or on my online game, I'd just kick them out immediately. I mean, that's what you do. That's what a real DM should do in that sort of situation. But it's never enough for the woke Inquisition. So, the Player's Handbook has officially come out, and Diversity in Dragons actually went through and did a count, and we covered him on the Substack post here. Make sure to sign up for the Substack and make sure to grab this article, and also do follow Diversity in Dragons, who does great work over on his channel there, and really appreciate him. So he went through the art on the book, and as you can see, you've got a strong female lead fighting against this giant monster on the front.
As any strong female should.
As it should be, Slay Queen. And he pointed out there were different art in the book, and it's really missing a lot of white males in there. So he said he counted all of the character-driven art pieces. In it, he counted ones that featured white dude, as they derisively call us. On the other side, I counted the ones that featured white women, black men, and black women in various flavors of furry.
Oh, who cares about the black women, okay? Listen, black men don't care about black women. Black women don't care about black women. Why even count them, okay? When was the last time Nicki Minaj did not refer to black women as nothing but a bunch of holes or something like that? Respect, Nicki. Respect.
The results in the News Player's Handbook, there were just 17 pieces of art featuring white dudes as the subject. Guess how many in the other categories there were? Well over 100. So less than 15% of the art has white males in it. And, of course, the opposite, the 85% of the art.
That's actually not how you get the 15.
Art features white women, black males, black females, or weird furries. And so that's who they want as their player base. It's an inversion of reality. The reality is 85%, 90% are their current player base, but they want it to be the exact opposite. They always say representation matters, but why do they never actually accurately represent white people? Remember when they started this whole thing in Hollywood with these adventure parties in every single movie, where you'd have the one black guy, the one white woman, the one Asian or ambiguously ethnic guy, and then they'd have one white guy, and it'd usually be a party of four. Now the white guys are completely thrown out of it unless they're the villains, right?
Smart.
That's what they do in everything at this point. Well, they always said it we want to represent reality, and this is what diversity looks like.
I mean, Wizards of the Coast. I don't mean to be that guy, but I feel like I have a microaggression here noticed, and the fact that this clearly evil person's skin is not white enough. Okay, I mean, it's not. Also, why isn't she black? Honestly, okay.
In the modern world, right? Well, if you want to represent reality, why don't you represent the reality of your player base? It should be 85% and then 15% the other way. If that's the case, they would be accurately representing reality. But it's not about reality. They want to socially engineer things.
Don't the majority of liberals in America think that America is 50+% black?
And it is about erasing white males. It is about removing white males from all aspects of society.
Yeah!
And that's what they've been trying to do in everything from corporate.
Hey, I'm not saying South Africa, not actually South Africa, but a part of the place that's South Africa. Hey, they got rid of all the white males. Guess who they were? Farmers. Guess what's happening now? Starvation. Good moves.
Down to just games that people are playing, down to movies people are watching. That is the agenda. That's exactly what's been happening over the last several years, and it's becoming patently obvious at this point. Now, what's interesting is if you go to Wizards of the Coast and you look at the bios there, what does it look like? It is mostly white males working at that company as well. They don't put their money's where
I mean, that needs to change. That is a problem.
Their mouth is. They don't have an 85% female and ethnic sort of makeup of their company.
I believe they will. That is 100. Dude, if you're black or a woman, you can probably just get any spot at Wizards of the Coast at this point for free without. Just call them and say you're black and you want to work for them. Congratulations, you're probably instantaneously going to be a lead whatever. It's probably that simple at this point.
company. Why don't they do that? Because those people don't know how to make the games because they're not interested in these games. It's a completely different subset and completely different demographic and completely
Hey,
different.
you don't need to be interested in these things to make money. I'm just saying there's opportunity to be had, my Latinx friends.
Base that is doing other things, and that's fine. People are allowed to have the things they like, and people are allowed to have a target demographic for certain different products. That is an okay thing. But when you're turning off your people because this is who your player base is, it becomes an entirely other matter. And that's what we got with D&D. I don't know anybody who wants to play this edition. I don't know anybody who's going in on the one D&D subscription. Are you at this point? Are you still going in after the Mexican orcs and this?
The Mexican orcs are at least funny. That at least is kind of funny, I have to say, okay? In any case, yeah. 10 absolutely out of 10. Classic Vokism doing the best it can. John Del Aros, 10 out of 10. Latinx represent. Have a nice day. Bye.